I look at it and think from the standpoint of a homeowner, right? Even that home today is still worth more than what I paid for it in 07.
Yeah,
and it's just longevity. But those types of things certainly are rare. I mean, we've talked about this a lot. Homes in general, are going to increase in value. The data is undeniable in terms of the charts, the ebbs and the flows. But length of time owning homes, we were just talking about that. That's another element that I think is interesting, is how long people are staying in homes.
Yeah.
Continues to change. And I actually haven't looked at the data recently as far as how long by market, but are you guys seeing any trends? Are you seeing or hearing anything different? Because people are far more mobile these days in terms of jobs with being remote, which technically allows you to stay even as you switch companies in some situations.
And I think even the remote aspect is starting to change a little bit, because I'm hearing a lot more of these. It's more hybrid, where you're starting to see, I mean, we're experiencing it in our family. My wife just started a new job where she was strictly remote, and now she goes into the office 3 days out of the 5. And man, it changes the dynamic of at least our home, because the kid pickup or things like that. When you're working from home, you can take the 5 minutes to go get the kids and then come back and continue working. But when you're at the office and you're you're not at home, there's you have to coordinate that, and it changes. But I have heard, to your original question, the old staple was it's about 7 years that people stay in their homes. But conversations that we have and we see is, I think that number is decreasing. I don't think 7 years is as consistent as it once was.
Well, when we sell loans into the secondary money market, a big part of the back end profit, if you will, the margin, is how long the investor, be it Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, whoever, how long they calculate that person is going to make interest payments. Obviously, it's a 30-year loan, but that investor can't believe that they're going to make interest payments for 30 years. They have to do a broad calculation that says we should make this kind of profit off of this loan. So therefore, we can pay X for this loan. California has always been the least area in the entire United States. So as you package and sell loans that are based in California, those turn times have always been based off of more along the lines of about 5 years. Whereas if you're in Texas or Oklahoma or somewhere in the vast Midwest,
does it extend?
Southeast, they look at more along the lines of 7 to 9 to even 11 years in some areas. So a company that does loans there might make a little bit more for their loans as they sell them into the market. The reason why I bring this up is this exact question. How long are people staying in their houses? And it is going down, even in some of the Midwest places, as our country has become more mobile. You're seeing vast amounts of people leaving California and fleeing to some of the
the key states,
southeastern states, Texas, Tennessee, Florida, that type of stuff. People in New York fleeing New York and moving to a lot of those going to Florida, or to Midwestern states, and so their habits are starting to become this
that migration habit. Yeah.
So we're starting to see a little bit of that calculation change, which again affects interest rates.
When I was going to say, and I think it speaks to the affordability that we talked about.
Affordability.
The reason I think a lot of that migration is happening is affordability, or even quality of life, bang for your buck.
Right.
Gas prices, milk prices, those grocery prices, those types of things play a role.
So everything always comes back to affordability, because if you used to flee to Texas because it was more affordable, well, now some of the investors are going, well, wait a minute, we have to change interest rates on these loans because they're not staying on the books as long. And so it's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. And I believe that this jumping around is causing some issues. As far as the work from home, man, I'm starting to see so many companies. Was it Elon Musk that said either you come back into the office or find another job? State of California, they were telling people we're going to get rid of you if you don't come in.
Yeah.
But then they said, okay,
It's
we're
kinda
going to
hybrid,
do some
though.
hybrid.
Yeah.
We're going to give you another 2 years. But some of these inner city areas like downtown Sacramento have been really hard hit because there's not as many state workers downtown
Yeah.
going
Walking
to
around.
work, then eating lunch,
Yeah.
and buying gas at the gas station downtown.
That's true.
So
That's true.
So there's a lot of problems. Are we going to be able to fill up those commercial spaces?
Yeah.
I understand now there's some pushes in inner city areas in the state of California for landlords that have empty buildings that they can't lease them. They're going to start forcing them to redo some of those into affordable housing. And they're going to start trying to
haven't heard
house
that. That's awesome.
the unhoused.
Wow.
So there's, again, it all goes to affordability.